It's Monday, September 24th, I-30 westbound in Arkansas, heading towards Texas. She's got a 37-foot Class A, big old motorhome, I don't know, whatever, and I got a 31-foot little thing, just over 7,000 pounds, nothing special. She's going to Alvarado, I'm going to Cleburne, but I've heard rumors about this Cleburne dealership that they're just a nightmare to check in. We'll see. I don't know, but it kind of worked out. We have both, two going pretty much to the same place. I mean, they're 30 minutes apart or something like that, so that'll kind of make for a good week. And we'll be there today. I can't drop mine until tomorrow. They scheduled so many to come in per day, so we'll kind of be sitting around, but yeah, something to do, hanging out. Good to eat a Whataburger. I gotta eat it an In-N-Out burger. I've always heard there's a rivalry between In-N-Out and Whataburger. Well, I ate at a Whataburger last time I was in Texas, and I wasn't really that impressed. They had good ketchup, that was about it. But so that's about it. Stayed at the TA last night. We actually got some decent parking right next to each other on the end, so we slept in the motorhome, and it was quietish. But it was like 20-mile walk to the freaking bathrooms. Whatever, you can't win them all. So that's it. That's what we're doing now. We'll see what happens with the rest of the week. The board's pretty empty still. I don't know. We're still not in a pickle yet, but if it keeps up like this, we might have to come up with something else to do. I mean, we haven't had a real solid week since June. Yeah, shit. Last week in June was my last good week. And then we could have had one the first week of July, even with the 4th. There was still lows, but we took a week off because we shut down for the week. It'll be slow. Okay, well, we'll take off. Yeah, that was a mistake, but whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's too early to tell. I mean, we stay, as long as we're able to keep doing a little bit like this, we can keep going for quite a while. But if you're not doing this and thinking about doing this, just be aware that you could have some lean times. It's feast or famine, I guess. We'll see. It's Friday, September 28th. This is load 30 something. I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen or whatever. This one's going to Churchville, New York. We had that one down to Texas, and then the motorhome. She followed me in the motorhome down to Texas, and then we went back to Goshen and got her car. We were gonna just go home. This next weekend is my brother-in-law's wedding, so we're gonna go do that. So we're just gonna go home, get some things taken care of, get ready, and then do a short week next week. But two motorhomes showed up going to Colfax, New York. I didn't do any video. I got a picture of them, but just two little things or whatever. So we took those, and we figured, well, we'll just go home after that. But we left my truck in Goshen, and I didn't really want to leave it there, from Wednesday until Monday or Tuesday. So we went back to Goshen, and on our way back, we're looking at the load board, and there happens to be one in New York. So this is the first full week we've had since June. But and there's still more stuff on the board. So I guess it's looking up. Hopefully we do good from here on. We'll see. But I mean, this one's kind of short, but it worked out. It goes right past the house. We'll drop it today and be home tonight. But so the funny thing though, that those two Texas ones were just over 1,000 miles, and the two North Carolina ones were just over 600 miles. We made more money on the North Carolina ones, and for whatever reason, it's just an industry standard. If you take the Mason-Dixon line and go all the way across the country, everything north of that pays better than everything south of that. And I think it might just be because they know they can. There's not really any kind of rhyme or reason for it. I mean, the fuel is a little bit cheaper in the south, but not as much as the price difference. So the rate today, right now, is $1.35 for my company. Some companies are different. It's $1.35 north of the Mason-Dixon and $1.23 south for shorter length single pull bumper pull trailers. The fifth wheels get a little bit more, and the heavier stuff gets a little bit more. But so for right now, it's $1.35 north, $1.23 south. I don't know why. If it was $1.30, I would say it's because of the fuel. But $1.23, no way, no freaking way. But it was on the board, and there was also a motorhome going there, so it kind of worked out. But yeah, it was quite a bit different. I mean, 400 miles shorter, and we made $200 more on the two loads, something like that. You know, so that's just, it's one of those things. You know, when the board's really loaded up and you got tons of options, you can pick and choose. Okay, I know I'll make more doing this than I will doing that. But when it's slim pickings, you just take what you can. Just like this one. I mean, it's normal pay, but I needed something heading towards the house, and it worked. So instead of us saying, because I was just going to tow the car behind the truck back, but since we got this load, why not take it and get paid? So that kind of works out. But so good, full week, not bad. Let's see. I finished that book, The Undoing Project. If you can force yourself through the dry parts, it's a pretty interesting book about just how easy it is to manipulate people, but with information that presented in a certain way can make you feel a certain way. It was interesting. It makes you look at advertisements and things like that in a whole new light. But so I don't know, if you're into that kind of thing, try it out. If not, whatever. Right now I'm listening to a book that I read as a kid called The Hatchet, or just Hatchet, not The Hatchet, just Hatchet by Gary Paulson. And it's about a little 13-year-old kid that gets stranded in the woods in Canada. But I read it as a kid, it was good, and I saw it on the library app, and I was like, oh man, I want to listen to it again. So it's just a nice story. It's not a true story, I don't think. It can't be. I mean, I guess it could be. We never heard about it, but whatever. I know there's a sequel called The River, and he goes back, so that's why I don't think it's a true story, because I don't know that any kid that would go back into the woods after being stranded there. But so that's it. That's what we're doing now. We're just still trying to work on a bed situation for back here. Not really sure yet what we're going to do. And then the other thing, we're looking at getting a 12-volt fridge. They are either really, really cheap or really, really expensive. And some of the really, really cheap ones, under $100 or whatever, they're not actually refrigerators. They just kind of have a fan in them or something. I don't know how they work, but they're not really coolers, or they're not refrigerators. So then you go up from there. There's some Chinese junk knockoffs for $300 or whatever, and I just don't know if I'm willing to risk. I'm very much in the camp of buy once, cry once. You buy the good one and don't worry about it, and you have it forever. I don't like junk. If something doesn't work, and I get back to that in a second. If something doesn't work, I get pissed off. So the next option is we go up to like an ARB or an Engel or something like that, and they're $800 and some. So still kind of on the fence with that, because we're having real problems with meals. Like when I was by myself, I was just eating canned food, like SpaghettiOs and spaghetti and raviolis and food and all that crap right out of the can, because I don't care so much about eating cold stuff like that. My wife doesn't like it, and now that I've been doing it for a while, I'm kind of sick of it. It's time for some real food. So there's some options, but we need a refrigerator, because we did the cooler thing. I mean, we've been doing the cooler thing. We bring lunch meat and make sandwiches and stuff like that, but you have to keep buying ice, and then you got this cooler filled with freaking water that weighs 50 pounds. You got to lug it out and dump the freaking water out and fill it back up with ice. It's a hassle. So that's what got us thinking about a refrigerator, but it's just that kind of money. So that's down the road. But anyway, on the whole junk thing, so the hitch you use for bumper pulls industry wide is a 2 5/16. Well, the tow car uses a 2-inch ball. So no problem. I got a B&W that flips. It's got both sides, a 2-inch ball and a 2 5/16. It's not the one that I use with the Anderson. So I pull the Anderson out of there, or I pull the Anderson out, but the reducer I have from 2.5 to 2-inch wouldn't come out. It was stuck. So I had to get under the freaking truck and stick a wrench in there, and then beat the wrench with a freaking hammer to knock it out, because the damn, where the hitch pin goes through the hitch, it wallowed those holes over the last 86,000 miles of towing. So as it wallowed out, it mushroomed it in and was pinching that 2-inch reducer. I mean, I was beating the snot out of that thing to get it out of there. And it's just like, really, Chrysler couldn't spend an extra $10 and heat treat that thing so it doesn't wallow? Like, I was pretty upset about that, so that sucked. And then just dealing with that, and those motorhomes, man, they are garbage. I mean, just absolute junk. I'm talking, like, I'm not sure it was a Ford. It was a gas motor. I assume it was their V8. I don't know what Ford's using now, if they're still at the 5.4 Triton or whatever the hell they got. I don't freaking know, but it had to have been a V8, because it was an E350 van, with a 21-foot camper on the back of it. I had that thing to the floor going through West Virginia in the hills, and it couldn't hold 65. Like, I don't know what kind of piece of crap that thing was, but I mean, yeah, I'm towing the tow car, but it's only 3,000 pounds. I mean, it's not a freaking tank. Whatever. So that thing was a piece of crap, and the seat was ridiculously uncomfortable. They build them things so you can't, like, the seat is straight up. You're sitting straight up and down, and I mean, I'm not a huge dude, but I'm 6 foot, and I'm driving the steering wheels like this, and my knees are up in my freaking elbows, and it's whatever. I don't know who the hell would buy one of those things. I just, no way. Maybe they're not allowed to test drive them, and then they get it, and they're like, yeah, this thing's a piece of shit, I don't want to do it. It's like, oh, sorry, pound sand, asshole. I don't know, but I guess that's probably why you see so many of them sitting next to somebody's house for 30 years, never moving, because they're horrible to drive. But I'm happy to be back in the truck, I'll tell you that. But I'll do it again. Like I said, it was more money than that Texas run, and that has to do with different companies paying different rates, and I don't know, being north of the Mason-Dixon. But the funny thing is that the Colfax, that would have been south of the Mason-Dixon, and I still made good. I don't know, maybe it's a little further south than that they, as the break, maybe it's the North Carolina, South Carolina border. I don't know, but I only saw a map once, and it was just like in passing when I looked at it, and I just said, well, that's probably about the Mason-Dixon. But yeah, so that was this week, so we'll drop this one off today, 1:30-ish, 2 o'clock, and then we'll be home for the weekend. Definitely need some time off. The trip down to North Carolina was a bit stressful. Like, my wife is very, very much by the book, so we were looking for a place to sleep, and it was late, and we didn't get out until late, and then so we're looking for a place to stop, and we pull into a truck stop, and it is 100% packed. There is nowhere for us to park at all, period. Not even in the car spots. I mean, everything was packed. So we're like, okay, what's the next option? Well, there was a hotel, and I'm like, I really don't want to get a hotel because it was already like 8 o'clock at night, and if you're going to spend money on a hotel, you want to spend a little bit of time there. But we're like, screw it, we'll just get the hotel and deal with it. Well, there was a group of hotels, Chillicothe, Ohio, and right around Athens, and there was a group of hotels, and we're out of time, and we couldn't drive anymore, so we kind of just winged it to this hotel. I mean, it was like 15 minutes from the rest stop or whatever, so it was like, okay. So we go to the hotel. They have no rooms. There was truck parking, not very much, but there was no rooms. And I'm like, well, crap, man, I'm not gonna like just sleep in this hotel parking lot. Like, it's kind of rude if you're not paying for it. So okay, so we went and looked at another hotel. They said they had rooms and they had truck parking. So we go there. Well, they have rooms, but there was no truck parking, and it was like 2 miles from the other one. So I'm not gonna park my truck at the other one and walk all that way. So like, geez, oh man. So we found a Walmart, and we pull it. So this gets into my wife's breaking the rules thing. They had a sign that said no overnight parking, RVs or trucks or whatever. And so she starts freaking out. I'm like, look over there. There's like 4 semis and 3 campers. And the campers had the slides out. I mean, these people were set up, chairs out there, camping, having a good old time. I'm like, we'll be fine. So we just slept there. It was all right. It's fine. But, so yeah, you'll run into problems like that. That's one of the things you gotta deal with, is where you're going to sleep, where you're going to stop, and all that. Whatever. All right, so that's it. And hopefully next week we can get something going south. Hopefully we can get a couple going to like Florida or something. That'd be really nice, because then the wedding's in North Carolina. So hopefully we'll get a couple going to Florida and then hang out down in Florida for a day, and then go up and do the wedding, and then be a short week. So that's it. Is this 37? Number 37? 38? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to count that motorhome. Well, whatever.